This is Novak Djokovic, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, a man whose talent, discipline, and relentless pursuit of excellence changed tennis forever. But behind his shining career lies a story few people know, a story about a sponsorship deal that almost bankrupted one of the sport's most iconic brands. How could Djokovic's success, the dream outcome for any sponsor, turn into a financial nightmare? Today, we'll uncover the story of Djokovic and Sergio Tacchini, a partnership that started with big dreams but ended with a lesson about business risks, bad calculations, and the unpredictable power of success. Let's go back to 2009. At that time, Novak Djokovic was already one of the top players in the world, a Grand Slam champion, a consistent top 3 competitor, and clearly on his way to becoming something special. He was sponsored by Adidas, one of the biggest sportswear brands on the planet. But there was a problem. Inside Adidas, Djokovic wasn't the main star. The brand was pushing harder behind players like Andy Murray, Fernando Verdasco, and Ana Ivanovic. Novak, despite his results, was part of the roster, not the face of it. And for a player as ambitious as Djokovic, that didn't sit right. He wanted something bigger, recognition, a brand that revolved around him. That's when Sergio Tacchini entered the picture. In November 2009, Novak Djokovic made a shocking announcement. He was leaving Adidas and signing with Sergio Tacchini. For those who don't know, Sergio Tacchini was once a legendary tennis fashion brand. In the 1980s and 1990s, they dressed icons like Pete Sampras, John McEnroe, and Martina Hingis. Their style, elegant, Italian, slightly rebellious, was part of tennis history. But by the late 2000s, Tacchini was a shadow of its former self. Financial problems, declining sales, and poor management had left the company struggling to compete with global giants like Nike and Adidas. So, when Djokovic's team approached them, it looked like a golden opportunity, a way to put Tacchini back on the tennis map. The deal was massive for the company. Djokovic would become the main global face of Sergio Tacchini, with 4 annual collections inspired by him. The contract reportedly lasted 10 years, possibly extendable to 15, and included both fixed payments and performance bonuses tied to Djokovic's success, tournament wins, world rankings, and even a share of revenue from sales in China and his branded product line. In short, if Novak won, everyone won. At least, that was the plan. There was, however, one small issue. Sergio Tacchini didn't make tennis shoes, only apparel. So while Djokovic wore Tacchini clothing, he continued to play in Adidas shoes. It was an unusual split sponsorship, but it worked for a while. In those first 2 years, things went well. Djokovic was consistently among the top players, reaching finals, staying visible, and giving the brand much-needed exposure. But then, something happened that no one, not even Tacchini, could have predicted. In 2011, Novak Djokovic had one of the greatest seasons in tennis history. He won 3 Grand Slams, compiled 70 wins and only 6 losses, and became the world's #1 player for the first time. It was a season so dominant that it instantly changed the tennis landscape. And with that dominance came the problem, those performance bonuses written into the contract. Djokovic's rise activated every single bonus clause in his contract. Grand Slam wins, check year-end #1, check titles, dozens. Suddenly, the deal that had seemed manageable became an avalanche of financial obligations for Tacchini. According to Sports Business Journal, the company quickly fell behind on payments. The bonuses, meant to reward success, were simply too big for a brand that was already struggling. Sergio Tacchini was, essentially, being crushed by Djokovic's greatness. It's ironic, the very success that should have been their greatest marketing victory became a financial disaster. Imagine a small sportswear company agreeing to pay millions in bonuses, and then their athlete delivers the best season in modern tennis. For Nike or Adidas, that would be great news. For Tacchini, it was devastating. They didn't have the infrastructure, the cash flow, or the global distribution to capitalize on the exposure Djokovic was giving them. Demand was rising, but the company couldn't meet it. The brand couldn't turn Djokovic's fame into profits fast enough. By 2012, the situation had become unsustainable. Payments were delayed, tensions grew, and the partnership began to crumble. In May 2012, right before Roland Garros, both sides announced what they called an amicable separation. The official statement read that Djokovic had outgrown the brand, but behind the polite language, the truth was clear. The contract had become impossible to honor. Sergio Tacchini simply couldn't afford Novak Djokovic anymore. For the brand, it was the end of a gamble gone wrong. For Djokovic, it was just another step forward. Just one day after leaving Tacchini, Djokovic signed a new deal, this time with Uniqlo, the Japanese fashion giant. The contract reportedly paid around €8 million per year, roughly $10 million annually at the time, and included both clothing and footwear. Uniqlo didn't just see Djokovic as a tennis player, they saw him as a global ambassador, someone who embodied the brand's values of discipline, simplicity, and excellence. Within days, Djokovic debuted Uniqlo at the 2012 French Open. The transition was smooth, professional, and lucrative. For Uniqlo, it was a masterstroke. Djokovic would go on to win more Grand Slams, more titles, and solidify himself as one of the greatest of all time. He remained with the company until 2017, before eventually signing with Lacoste, where he still serves as the face of their sportswear line today. So, what happened to Sergio Tacchini after that? The company didn't officially go bankrupt because of Djokovic, but his contract became a major financial strain. Industry analysts and sports business journalists agree. The performance-heavy deal with Djokovic was one of the biggest miscalculations in modern sports sponsorship. The logic was understandable. Bet on a rising star, give him incentives, and grow together. But the risk wasn't properly calculated. Tacchini was already fragile. They were trying to rebuild, not expand. And they underestimated how fast Djokovic would explode into superstardom. The deal that was supposed to be their comeback instead exposed the company's financial weakness. In the following years, Tacchini changed ownership multiple times, shifting focus toward lifestyle fashion rather than pure sports performance. They still exist today, but as a niche brand, far from the powerhouse they once were in the golden era of tennis. The story of Djokovic and Sergio Tacchini isn't just about tennis. It's a lesson in business, risk management, and timing. In theory, a success-based contract sounds perfect. You pay more only when the athlete wins. But in practice, it's a gamble. And if the athlete's success exceeds expectations, the brand can be overwhelmed. Tacchini didn't have the financial capacity or scalability of global giants like Nike or Adidas. They were betting on visibility, not on exponential success. And when Novak delivered historic results, it exposed how fragile the business model really was. It's a reminder that in sponsorships, as in any partnership, growth must be sustainable. You can't build your strategy on if everything goes perfectly, because sometimes it actually does. And that can be the worst-case scenario. For Novak Djokovic, the Tacchini episode was just a chapter in a legendary career. He moved on, richer and wiser, landing deals that matched his global stature. But for Sergio Tacchini, the aftermath was a painful reality check. Their ambition to re-enter the big leagues of tennis came with a cost they could barely afford. The irony is almost poetic. A brand built on tennis history tried to revive itself through one of the sport's greatest modern players, and his brilliance nearly destroyed them. Today, Tacchini is remembered fondly by fans of vintage tennis fashion, but rarely as a major player in the sport. Their attempt to ride Djokovic's wave of success became a cautionary tale in the business of sports marketing. If you are tired of feeling stuck in your tennis journey, training hard but not seeing real results, struggling with injuries, inconsistency, or feeling like you're not reaching your true potential, is because you're not doing what the pros do. The difference between staying where you are and playing like a pro isn't just talent, it's having the right system, mindset, and support. That's exactly why I created the Tennis Motivation Academy, for players who refuse to settle. If you're serious about leveling up, this is your shortcut. You'll get the Become a Pro Player Guide, so you train with the same structure as top athletes. Elite fitness routines, so you move faster, hit harder, and outlast your opponents. Injury prevention system, because pain shouldn't hold you back. A private community of winners, because who you surround yourself with matters. Spots are limited and doors won't stay open forever. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results. Don't wait, take action now. The link is in the description. That's it for today. If you found this video useful, leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your tennis friends. See you in the next one.